Marvel saying the quiet parts out loud. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It is the Vulgar Desperado on the track representing the Jabber Jaws. And today I wanted to go over this article I saw about it into comic books. Looks like Marvel is just putting another foot in their mouth, but they're not saying anything we already didn't know. But before we get into this article, you know what to do. Really would appreciate a like or a subscribe. Hit that button on your way in or on your way out. Thank you very much. Alright, let's not bury the lead here. So Marvel Studios producers considers it a red flag if prospective writers are fans of original comics, prefers to hire someone who's out of the culture. And I'm going to bounce around a little bit in this article here, but the article continues with this guy, the producer. His name is Nate Moore, who apparently has been a producer on some pretty big Marvel titles here. The Captain America Civil War, The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and most recently Black Panther Wakanda Forever. So in this appearance he had on a podcast called The Ringers, the Town podcast, it was on November 16th, he dived into basically more what he's saying here. So he said, speaking with host Matthew Bellinoni about his general experience working for the Disney subsidiary, timestamp was 17 minutes if you actually want to go watch the podcast. Moore was eventually asked if there was some kind of Marvel boot camp or something that you do with these filmmakers to integrate them into this world and knowing all the things that they need to know, to which the producers confirmed not really. I think that already goes right then and there to show you that that's a problem with this company and these people in charge or shelling out money, producers, whatever. That's a logical question. You know, if you're going to hire somebody for any job, you're going to want to make sure they're right for the job, the qualifications, the know-how. I mean, fuck, us regular folk literally have to have resumes and references on top of references and all this experience just to know how to do regular fucking jobs. But here he is saying not really to something that is millions of dollars worth of fucking IP and material, and yet they don't even give a whatever. Let's continue the article. Noting that some Marvel writers grew up reading and collecting comics such as Avengers, Endgame's co-directors Joe Russo and Black Panther director Ryan Coogler, Moore told Bellinoni, one thing I think is interesting, and specifically for writers I would say, is that there are a lot of times where pitch writers who love Marvel, and to me that's always a red flag. I don't want you to already have a pre-existing idea of what is because you grew up with the comics and that's what you want to recreate, he explained. I want someone who's going to be hard on the material, who can go, what is this? I think there's a movie here, but maybe we should be looking at it this way. See, again, that just kind of divulges into the problem with this company. You know, I can understand the concept of fresh perspective, right? But again, why would you hire or look for people that have no knowledge of the shit? I mean, let's be real. This is how you get She-Hulk. This is how you get Thor Love and Thunder. You have people going in there with the intent of, essentially the intent of, I don't give a fuck, I'm getting paid. So let's continue on with this article. It says, offering up an example of what he was looking for in prospective writers, Moore then pointed to Captain American trilogy writers Christopher Marcus and Stephen McFeely, who weren't comic book guys coming up, but were like, wait, Captain America? This seems a bit weird. What if we looked at it this way? And they weren't married to anything, nothing was sacrosanct, recalled the producer. And see, that's a problem. The fact that nothing was sacred to you on this, 60, 70 plus year franchise, nothing is sacred to you. And again, it's not like things need to be exactly like the comic books. I understand translations sometimes from book to screen are not going to be, as linear and clear cut as it was on the page. There's a lot of things in books you can do that you can't do on the screen. All right, I've never read it, but somebody told me about a nasty orgy in that book. Yeah, I understand why the fuck that is not in the movie, right? Hunger Games, right? I actually seen that one. They have the children be turned into these like clone kind of dog things, or they use their DNA to make these like dogs or some shit like that. It's not in the movie. They could have put that in the movie, but it didn't hurt the film taking things out, right? Some things will translate well, some things will need a little more explanation that a page on a screenplay won't allow you to. For those who don't know, one page in a screenplay is 1 minute. So, you have a 120 page screenplay and you're trying to put out a film, that's 120 minutes right there. So I can understand why some things will be omitted, right? Or just, ignored altogether because it just doesn't work for the medium of film. However, there are a lot of things that this franchise, Marvel, has done that is so egregious, so sacrilegious, that you're kind of wondering, why the fuck did you even buy this shit? Well, let's continue the article. He says, I think it's important to be able to go, look, the source material is great and I love it, and comics were great in the medium they were built in, but that's not a direct one-to-one translation to the best version of the movie, he asserted. And sometimes it takes someone who's out of the culture to go, hey, I know you think it should be this, but maybe it should be this other thing. No. No. That is idiotic beyond belief, because just like with She-Hulk, somebody coming into the culture that has no idea of the culture went into said culture with the intent of malice, okay? There are articles, there are interviews where the writers on She-Hulk literally said, well, we did this out of anger. They did this to troll the fans, to troll the men, and blah, blah, blah. Like, who the fuck wants to spend millions, thousands of fucking dollars? Who wants to spend hours of their time watching or even making something like that? You don't hire somebody out the culture because that person wants to destroy the culture. That is the sad thing about this idea. Whereas, yes, it makes sense to have fresh eyes on something, but you have to have love to even really be able to do this, and these people do not. Continuing, turning to provide further support for his argument, Moore then pointed forth to Thor Ragnarok and Thor Love and Thunder director David Cohen as a great example of that too, because he was like, hey, I know Thor traditionally is a bit stiff, a bit Shakespearean, but what if you tweaked it? What if you tweaked the tone completely? Then you don't have fucking Thor. That's what happens when you tweak it completely. You have a character that nobody's very interested in. Okay, Thor is a badass, right? Thor is somebody that you want to see fighting and doing heroics. Thor can be funny, but this idea of the big dumb lummox that makes jokes is not only trite, it's just overly corny and overly stereotypical. I mean, Chris Hemsworth at this point might as well just get a Johnny Bravo movie going along, because that's essentially like what his character is, just a big dumb lummox that's just out there for a good time. It just kind of misses the point of why you go see a Thor movie, why you read a Thor comic book. Thor is Marvel, but he's essentially Norse mythology, and you're kind of, even though it's a comic book version of it, just like with Wonder Woman, you're looking for epics, you're looking for adventure, you're not looking for humor. You go to other places for that. Continuing, the tone of Ragnarok is all Taika because he wasn't married to Thoron Page. Problem number one. Concluded the producer, believing himself to be complimenting the director rather than hitting the nail on the head as to why many fans have been turned off by Waititi's take of the God of Thunder. I haven't read every Thor book, and I have read a lot. I couldn't tell you a run that is tonally anything like Ragnarok. And yeah, that's a problem. I mean, anything that's being adapted, it doesn't need to be one of the stories bit by bit. You can take creative liberties, but it has to be in the same vein of this. There are one-shot alternate universe books of characters that, aren't canon, right? But nobody's going to, watch a film where a character is so unlike what people know and actually come out liking it. You wasted money in that shit and time. So, that's the end of the article, really. And honestly, I mean, like I said, this is something that we kind of already knew. Most people know that Marvel doesn't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck about their fans, and they put out crap that generally, again, is not likable. It's almost unwatchable. A lot of these things are designed with I don't know. They're like, I guess you could say they're designed for the normie audience, right? They're designed for people that truly don't give a damn about this. And I don't even know if they like action, right? I don't know if they like adventure. I don't know what they actually like when you watch these things, because all they try to do is just make everything a joke. It's, the sad part about it is, a lot of the shit is made out of spite. You know what I mean? And I'm not kind of one of these people that you're going to find crying on the internet because they dropped a new Star Wars trailer, or, pulling some Kevin Smith type shit. That's not me. But I do find it kind of annoying, when you go to watch movies that you like, and, you're reading this shit from, from your childhood, and you really love this material. You spent money and time in this. And then they go out there and shit on it by telling you that this is weird, or we want to change it. And it's like, who the fuck are you to be the arbiter of our taste, right? These are things that we, the fans, have put our money in and made it last all these 60 plus fucking years, right? You people come in, never heard of the shit, never read it, get the fucking fast track of a job, and then you go and shit on it, and then you cry bigotry. Like, that's some shit. That's like the, quit hitting yourself. Like, or rather, like, you're sitting there slapping yourself. Mom comes into the room and then say, oh, he beat me up. Like, it's so illogical and honestly kind of selfish that it boggles my mind that these producers, like he said, they're hiring people like this. You are literally going into the gate with, yeah, let's fuck this up. Let's make it so that the people that are actually legit fans will not like it. The sad reality is, and look, I don't know, there's a lot of normies out there, right? But it's like, the question is, are there more normies than there are fans? I mean, the fans that they have right now, if those numbers are small, and they're not small enough to, make these franchises fall into obscurity, right? Like, all these franchises have survived and lasted. Movies, cups, books, whatever. Like, there's these are huge IPs. Batman, Superman, Spider-Man, these are world-renowned characters. People have them tattooed on their fucking bodies. And yet, these mofos are out here like, oh, well, let's just make shit for the normies who have no idea what this shit is. And it's like, they're not even like making franchises that normies are going to want to go back and watch, right? You're going to watch dumbass Thor, and then you're going to be like, okay, well, I want to see dumbass Thor's in the comic books, and he's not like that in the comic books, and then they're going to be mad. And then, even worse, you might make Thor dumbass Thor in the comic books, and then the rest of us are like, what the fuck is this? So, I mean, in the end of the day, again, this isn't nothing we don't know. This is things that they've been doing. The problem is why, okay? Again, walk and vote with your wallet. Don't fucking spend money on this shit. I mean, it's good to roast, and it's good to kind of know why you don't like it. So, sometimes watching things has its benefits. However, when you hear this shit, when they're saying the quiet parts out loud, you can't help but think to yourself, what the fuck is the point anymore, right? What is the point of watching your shit? What is the point of even being excited for your shit, knowing damn well that you have no love for the original? Point blank, period. But that's it, y'all. I just want to kind of go in on that for a little bit. But y'all know what to do. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. Would really appreciate showing some love on here. You know what it is. The Jabber Jaws. I'm the Vulgar Desperado. And we'll catch you on the next vid. Peace.